Cultural Revolution under the Soviet regime, a new artistic and intellectual epoch. Introduction. The Cultural Revolution under the Soviet regime signified a profound transformation in the realms of art, literature, and education. Driven by the ideological tenets of Marxism-Leninism, this period saw an overhaul of traditional cultural norms and practices aimed at creating a new socialist culture in line with the principles of the Communist Party. 2. Art. The rise of Socialist Realism, 1920s to 1930s. Socialist Realism. Established as the official artistic style, Socialist Realism sought to depict the revolutionary spirit, the life of the working class, and the achievements of the socialist state in an optimistic, realistic manner. Influence on artists. Artists were encouraged, often compelled, to produce works that aligned with party ideology, resulting in a significant shift in artistic expression and themes. State control and censorship. Art became a state-controlled endeavor, with censorship ensuring that all art conformed to the ideals of socialism and served as a propaganda tool. 3. Literature. Shaping the Soviet narrative. 1920s to 1930s. Shift in literary themes. Literature in the Soviet era was expected to reflect socialist values, focusing on themes like class struggle, the life of the proletariat, and the glorification of socialist leaders and ideals. Prominent writers. Authors like Maxim Gorky and Mikhail Sholokhov, among others, became prominent for their works that epitomized the principles of socialist realism. Restrictions and persecutions. Literary censorship was pervasive, and writers who deviated from the official line often faced persecution and suppression. Education, creating a new ideological foundation, 1920s onwards. Curriculum reform. The Soviet educational system underwent comprehensive reform, with a new curriculum that emphasized Marxist-Leninist ideology, Soviet history, and the virtues of socialism. Political indoctrination. Education was seen as a crucial tool for indoctrinating the youth with communist ideology, promoting loyalty to the state and shaping future citizens. Literacy campaigns. Massive campaigns were launched to eradicate illiteracy, aimed at empowering the working class with education and making them more receptive to socialist ideology. 5. The impact on society and intellectual life. Cultural homogenization. The Cultural Revolution led to a certain homogenization of culture and intellectual life, with a focus on collective experiences and values as opposed to individual expression. Creation of a new Soviet identity. Through these cultural changes, the Soviet regime sought to forge a new Soviet identity, unifying the diverse populace under a common ideological and cultural framework. 6. Conclusion. The lasting legacy of Soviet cultural policies. The Cultural Revolution under the Soviet regime profoundly reshaped the landscape of art, literature, and education, leaving a lasting legacy on Russian and global culture. While it succeeded in creating a unique Soviet cultural identity, it also stifled artistic freedom and intellectual diversity, effects that continue to resonate long after the period. This transformative period in Soviet history reflects the power of a state-driven cultural agenda to reshape societal values and expression. The changes brought about in art, literature, and education under the Soviet regime were instrumental in cultivating a distinct socialist culture, aligned with the ideological and political goals of the Communist Party.